Screams, shocks, and a sense of humor make up this week's Moment of Wisdom. I talk with director and writer Kevin Williamson, who created one of the most iconic horror movie franchises of all time, Harlem Globetrotter and Guinness World Record holder Zeus McClurkin, and comedian and Traitors faithful Michael Rapaport. Three very different entertainers coming together to share one moment of wisdom. "30 years after creating the iconic Ghostface, Kevin Williamson talks to me about Scream 7. Now, we spoke about the story behind the legendary slasher, the return of Sidney Prescott, and the phone call from Neve Campbell that put him in the director's chair. All right, we're talking about Scream 7. Kevin, you've directed this time. You actually created the original back in the late 90s, but this time you're directing, and I understand that Neve Campbell wanted you to come back and direct this time around.
Yes, she did. I was participating already with Guy Busick and Jamie Vanderbilt. We were sort of creating this new script, and then she called me, and I had no idea why, but she asked me to direct the film. And when she asks you, you say yes.
When you created this back in 1996, you created Scream and then the Ghostface. Did you think that at any point that it was going to be this big?
No, never. I was just trying to get a job. I just was trying to, pay off my college debt and pay the rent. But yes, it turned into something much more special and than I ever dreamed. And in Ghostface itself, I never thought we would be here today talking about Seven.
So far worldwide, it has grossed over $900 million. What made you decide to, I'm curious to know, what made you come up with this in the first place? What made you decide to come up with the original Scream and Ghostface and the way this is all taken off?
It's such a long answer, but I'll try. I'll try to consolidate it into. I have a love of horror films. I always have, and during the '80s, that we had an entire genre era of slasher films with Halloween and Black Christmas and Prom Night and all these wonderful Jamie Lee Curtis films. And I just, in the 90s came along and they weren't making them anymore. And I just wanted a horror film and I wanted it to be different. And I didn't want it to be the same old, same old. I think horror was in a rut. And I just set out to write the movie I wanted to see. And I just sort of locked into what would happen if all the characters of the movie had seen all those movies. Mm-hmm. And I started from there.
And you started from there, and the rest is kind of history. So Scream 7 is the new installment of this franchise. Why now? And why do we need a Scream 7?
Well, that's a really good question. We need it because this time we have Sidney Prescott. The other thing about being Scream 7 is it's also the 30-year anniversary of the franchise. And we thought it was a wonderful way to say thank you to the fans. We brought back some OGs. We have, Courtney, we have Neve, David Arquette, we have Matt Lillard. We have all these wonderful actors from the original film that we can sort of bring together one last time. And also bring in all these new characters so that we can push the franchise forward. And I just think there's someone always different under that Scream mask. It's always a whodunit, and you never know who it is. And I think that's what keeps the franchise fresh, is you can go in so many different directions.
Right, and you talk about keeping it fresh. You've done this 7 times now. When you're going into keeping it fresh, how do you do that? You get all these different characters over this long period of time. How do you keep it fresh and interesting, and yet at the same time, somebody is behind that ghost face mask? It's sort of the same bad guy. Sort of.
Well, yes, we do sort of have the same costume, and the killer does sort of have the same trademark. And it's one of those movies within a movies. We have the Stab franchise that's a part of our universe, and we also have no shortage of crazy people out there. And so, what's nice too is, like, for instance, Scream 6 went to New York City, which I thought was a really wonderful redirection for the franchise, and we opened it up to so many different elements, and we created all these different characters that were wonderful. And then now we're going back to Sydney, and now we can continue on and go to someone else. And I mean, I do think there's tentacles to this franchise that can go in so many different directions, because we have a different killer under that mask with a different motive. And we try to stay relevant in the way that we deal with society. A good horror film always puts a mirror up to society. And so we're playing with all those ideas.
And one of the things you talked about also is the fact that Ghostface is an actual person. It's not like it's some supernatural. It's not Freddy Krueger. It's not Jason Voorhees, who it seems like you can't kill. It's not Michael Myers. This is a person who is behind the mask always. So what does that mean for the franchise as well?
Well, I've always loved the subgenre of slasher films. That was my, gateway drug when I was watching horror films as a kid. Halloween was the movie that did it for me. I thought that was so real, and I just think there's something very terrifying about the challenge of one person against another. I love supernatural films. I love ghost stories. I love all sorts of horror. But for me, I feel like my sort of corner of the universe is the slasher film, and there's nothing scarier to me than somebody in the closet with a knife just waiting for you.
All right, so you have done this multiple times. You've also done some other movies as well. But how has this particular franchise impacted your life? How has it changed your life?
Well, it was the first one. It was the beginning of my career. I just wrote a script hoping somebody would like it, hoping it might lead the path to getting a job. And, it made its way into the hands of Wes Craven, who was my hero. And then it found its way into the hands of Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell and all these amazing actors. And it went beyond me, and it became this thing larger than life. And it was successful, and the audience loved it. And I'm so grateful that, it was like lightning in a bottle. It doesn't happen that way normally, and it doesn't happen that way always. And it was special for me, and I hope it's special for other people, because it had a profound impact on my life, and it changed it forever.
So how excited were you when as you were starting out, you get this script together, and then you get it eventually it lands in Wes Craven and all these other actors. I guess they call you and say, or they tell you, this is good, we're gonna move forward with this. When you're starting out, how exciting was that for you?
It was so exciting. And also, it was my first film, and I had never really been on a movie set before, as certainly not as the writer. I didn't. And Wes Craven was wonderful, because typically the writer's thrown away right when the movie starts shooting. Well, yeah, because you don't need the writer around. The script's written, and it's time for the director now to be the captain of the ship. But Wes was such a mentor. He would allow me to sit next to him and ask all those annoying questions. And it was such a great. I had film school. Scream One was film. It was my film school. And Wes was so patient and had so much grace, and he would stop everything and answer a question. And I'll never forget that experience. It really had such an impact. It changed the course of my whole life in terms of how I, moved into TV and became a showrunner and did another film, and I directed, and then I produced it. He just opened my eyes up to all the different places I could be in this industry. And I've just tried to, do that.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking time out to talk about Scream 7 and the entire experience of going from 1996, the original, to getting to this point. Kevin, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And continued success.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, sir. From the Washington Generals to one of the most decorated Harlem Globetrotters of all time, Zeus McClurkin has taken the title Globetrotter literally all over the globe. He's visited nearly 40 countries. He talks about life as a Globetrotter, playing more than 300 games in over 260 cities. All right, I'm here with Zeus from the Harlem Globetrotters, and we're talking all things basketball. First of all, Zeus, thank you for hanging out. How did you get to be a Globetrotter?
So, Wisdom, I actually used to play against the Globetrotters.
Okay.
For the Washington Generals.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, you were the victim.
Yes, yeah.
For years.
Yes,
okay.
But I'm the victor. So no, eventually they got tired of me dunking on them, and they signed me to a contract.
Okay, and that's how it went down.
Mm-hmm.
You showed them up. All right. How many years has it been now?
16 years.
All right. What's the best part of being a Globetrotter?
The best part about being a Globetrotter is no matter where you go, people recognize this red, white, and blue basketball. It's one of those brands that are timeless, and it spans all across the world. Like just walking around DC today, somebody saw it and they start telling me a story about Meadowlark Lemon, Curly Neal, and I get to share in that moment with them.
Right. How many places have you been to? I bet you can't even. Can you think of all of them?
Yeah, don't make me name them, but
Okay.
I've been to 37 countries. Wow, yeah.
37 countries.
Yeah.
How do you keep that? How do you keep up with all that?
Yeah, shoot, taking photos everywhere I go back to my photo book. I was looking at it the other day, like, man, I forgot I went to Uzbekistan.
Right. Yeah. So when you get there, what is it? You do the tour, and then you do the games, and then you move on to the next spot. Is that how it works?
Yeah, we're living out of a suitcase.
Wow.
Like everywhere that we go. Every now and then we'll get some downtime in the city, and we'll get a chance to really explore that place.
Right.
But we're playing 320 games a year in over 260 cities. Each individual player plays like 117 games.
When is the off season for you?
There is no off season. Basketball season's our busiest time.
Okay.
Right. So from Christmas to Easter, but besides that, we're always on call, going out somewhere.
Wow. Okay. So practice.
Practice.
All your practice, not a game, practice. So listen, when you get to practice all of these wild shots that most people can't make that do play basketball, how does that come to be?
It's cool because our practices are different from like a traditional basketball
Okay.
practice. Like the stuff I used to get subbed out of games for, those are the things that are encouraged with the Globetrotters. So we're trying new shots from the stands, right?
Right.
Like we're going to be here in DC coming up in March, and we'll get to the arena about 2 hours before.
Okay.
We'll try new hook shots, new half-court trick shots, and it's just repetition, man. You
Really?
put up enough of them, it becomes muscle memory.
Really? Like all those hook shots from half court and the
Absolutely.
underhand and all that stuff.
Yeah.
At some point, it's just natural.
Yeah, you just learn it. Yeah, you get good on your job the longer you stay on. That's why you've been around so long.
Something like that. So how'd you get the name Zeus?
You got to earn it. So
Okay.
they call me Zeus for my thunderous dunks. When I
Okay.
dunk the ball, I say it sounded like thunder, so they gave me that name.
Okay, all right. And where were you born? And where'd you go to college?
Columbus, Ohio, and I went to college at North Carolina A&T State University.
Pride.
Aggie Pride. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I know about it. Because I went to Jackson State. We used to beat y'all back in the
Oh no, yeah. Before I was on the team.
Before you were on the team, yeah, football, not basketball.
Okay,
We
okay.
beat you in basketball.
Yeah.
So you went to North Carolina A&T, and the rest is history for the most
Yeah,
part. What do
yeah.
you do when you're not playing basketball?
Man, spend as much time as possible with my family. I'm in the real estate back at home, and also in ministry.
Okay, so ministry, real estate, basketball.
Yep.
All right. What is the best part about each one? Well, I know you said about basketball. What's the best part about real estate and ministry?
Well, with both of those, I get an opportunity to present myself to other people. So it's crazy to think how basketball has prepared me for that. Like, look what I'm doing here today.
Right.
This game of basketball brought me in front of you, in front of our viewers today. And I do the same thing in ministry. I've got a message that I have to give and deliver to people. I do the same thing in real estate. I got to help a client get across the finish line.
Right.
And it's all about being a coachable person and being able to help people to the end of the closing table.
When you run into kids when you are at these arenas, do they ever ask you, and when you speak to them at schools or you see them in the street, do they ever ask you any weird questions or crazy questions outside of basketball? Are they all just like, wow, you're tall?
Yeah, well, it's funny, man. Like, the kids are so unpredictable. Like, now there's a thing. Do you know how tall I am?
No, you're what? Let me guess. 6'6", 6'7".
6'7".
Ah,
See,
6'7". I
so
got you.
a kid asked me that the other day, and I told him 6'7", and the whole crowd just go 6'7".
I got you.
I was
Okay.
like, what's going on?
Right. Yeah, I did that at my house with my kids, and I was like, they started talking, and I said 6'7", 6'7", and they did this. Don't ever do that again.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that again, old man. Sit down somewhere. What's the best advice you have for anybody who wants to be successful in life, whether it's basketball, whether it's real estate, whether it's ministry, or anything in general?
I would say be coachable, right? I played a lot of minutes over guys who were probably better basketball players than me back in the day because I listened to the coach, right? The older I get with them, the more I realize people just want to be heard, right? And if you give them that respect and you listen to them, they'll give you everything that you want, and that's not just in sports. Don't just be coachable in sports, be coachable in life. Listen to your parents, listen to your teachers, adults, listen to your bosses. Anybody who wants to give you that advice for free, it's free for you to listen, and they'll give you that respect right back.
Now, Zeus, last time you and I were together many years ago, we were outside playing well, you were playing basketball, and I was trying to keep up with you. And my ring flew off.
Yes.
And it went into the grate in the ground. We got it back, and here it is right here.
Yep.
Here it is right here, and it still has a little broken part on it where, it's still right there.
You must have been working out or something, because
I do a little something. All right, do it. Spin it on your finger again like
here we go.
you normally do. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me give you just a taste of what you'll see at the game. Here we go. Bam.
go, yeah.
Now, Wisdom taught me this. Watch this. Here we go.
Okay, yeah, I used to be able to do that.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah, you're doing it right.
Okay.
Like I taught you.
All right. Yeah, do the one you was telling me
Do the
about.
one I was telling you about. I can't, well, it looks like we're out of time. This is all I got right here. Hey, Zeus, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What's your best part about being in D.C.?
Man, about being in D.C., you guys love basketball.
Oh, we do.
Absolutely love basketball. So you're not just looking for the dunks, but you're looking at the intricate parts of the plays. Like you want to see us actually hoop and get after it. But also, you guys just love the game.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time.
See y'all.
From the comedy stage to the Trader's Castle, you know the voice, you know the opinions, and chances are you've heard him loud and clear. Michael Rapaport breaks down how he likes to poke fun at himself while blasting everyone else, his experience on the hit reality TV show Traitors, and his favorite, Real Housewife of Potomac. Good morning to you, Michael. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. What makes you think I'll be high energy? Do I give off a high energy vibe?
Well, you look. Let me tell you why. Because you've been on Friends, Boston Public, Prison Break, Justified, Blackish, Higher Learning, Metro, and I could go on and on, but we don't have time. You are a busy man, and you're going to be bringing comedy to the DMV this weekend, not your acting. So, what can people expect when they come to see you?
People can expect a lot of energy. I like to poke fun at myself first because I definitely like to talk crap about everybody else. But I feel like it's only fair if you have to be able to give it and take it at the same level. I like to talk about being a husband. Like to talk about being a father. Like to talk some politics because I'm in the DMV area. You got to talk some politics. Talk about some sports, some pop culture, and everything under the sun. I'm looking forward to performing. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Finally, it feels like it's pre-spring weather because we've had a crazy winter, and I've always had good time, performing in the DMV area. So I'm looking forward to being at the Draft House this weekend.
All right, so we were talking, and you had started doing comedy when you were younger. Then during the pandemic, it picked back up because you've been acting for a long time. You've done all kinds of acting gigs, but comedy, you picked that back up during the pandemic. Is that right?
Yeah, right before the pandemic actually started, and then obviously that happened. But it's unlike anything. Performing live in front of an audience is totally unique. It's unpredictable, and the immediate response is unlike anything. So I love doing it. Being on stage and comedy is like a never-ending jigsaw puzzle. There's so many things to say as long as you're living, breathing, and taking life in. So I've always enjoyed doing it, and I'm looking forward to rocking this weekend at the Arlington Draft House.
All right, so you put out a video asking for Arlington lunch recommendations. Did you get any good ones? And what do you
got for me?
Huh?
What, you got anything good for me?
Well, we got, we happen to have a, the lunch specials this weekend. There's a list. You can go on our website and check that out.
Okay.
Where it's Arlington, what is it? It's Virginia, I can't remember what it is.
I'll check it out.
It's Fairfax lunch week, is that right? Help me out, producers. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah, don't leave them hanging. What are we doing
Fairfax City Restaurant Week. There you go. I've read it like 12 times this morning. So yeah.
He's leaving us hanging here.
So you can go and get all these different specials in the area. So people should go on there and tell you about some of the great restaurants. When they come in town, while you're in town. All right, you said you're down to talk about Traitors. Who made you jump into that world, and how has the response been when you talk about that?
The response has been great. I love reality TV. Shout out to the Real Housewives of Potomac. It's been a great season. I'm looking forward to the reunion, part 3 this Sunday. And I'm a reality TV junkie. My wife and I, it's something we love doing, and that's how I got asked to do Traitors. It's been a crazy experience, but people love it, and I had a good time doing it. For the most part, it worked out the way I wanted it to.
All right, real quick before you go, we're almost out of time. Who is your favorite? Which one of the housewives is your favorite? Can you say?
Well, I'll say, because I'm in the DMV area, I'll say right now my favorite housewife is probably Stacy and the great Ashley Darby in Potomac. Both of them are top notch. Shout out to the La Grande Dame who just got out, and I hope she's doing well and thriving.
Yes. Michael Rapaport, thank you very much. I appreciate your time this morning. And I hope you find some good restaurants because I kind of fumbled the bag on that one. But you can go
don't worry about it.
You can go to the King Street Oyster Bar. How about that? That's one of my favorites. During happy hour, 3:30 to 5:30 every day, even on the weekends, if you get time.
I'll tell them you sent me and they put it on your tab.
Put it on my tab. Walk in and say Wisdom Martin, and you'll be good to go get whatever you want. Good
All right,
luck.
cool.
Good
I
luck.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your time. Well, whether they make you scream, laugh, or entertain you on the basketball court, they each share a moment of wisdom. I'm Wisdom Martin, and you can catch me weekday mornings on WSA 9 Mornings starting at 4:30.